Hello, friends, and thank you for joining ERPA's webinar today to review important year-end processes and checklists. ERPA supports customers throughout their entire life cycle on Workday, but today is all about year-end using Workday. A couple of housekeeping matters before we jump into the important content. As folks continue to join, all of your microphones have been muted for this session. The chat, though, is available for you to engage with us, and we're going to be monitoring it for any questions you type in throughout our time together. We have a lot of content packed into a short 30-minute webinar, and so to maximize our time, we encourage you to engage with us through the chat or the question feature. You'll find that in the upper right-hand corner of your interface of this webinar platform. Let's do that instead of waiting in case we don't have time for the Q&A at the end. And then following today's discussion, a very brief survey is going to hit your inbox, and we'd be grateful if you would take about 45 seconds to complete that survey and let us know how we did. On the next slide, you're going to see what's in store for you today. This is our agenda slide. First, our world-class presenters will say a quick introduction, and then we'll run through the importance of completing year-end processes. Next, we're going to review the checklists for each functional area. And then importantly, we're going to provide a couple of demos for audit reporting, hopefully leaving us with enough time for some Q&A at the end. But again, don't hold on to your questions. Instead, go ahead and utilize that chat feature or the question feature in the upper right-hand side of your interface, and we will try to answer them over the course of our time together instead of waiting for the Q&A that might or might not happen. And now let me turn it over to Beth and Madison, our team of experts presenting today. Welcome, Beth and Madison. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Hi, my name is Beth Granazio. I'm located in Coastal Virginia, and I'm a functional architect here at ERPA. I'm certified in HCM, launch, benefits, talent performance, and people experience. Madison?
Hi, everybody. My name is Madison Doan. I'm a consultant here at ERPA. I'm located in Dallas, Texas, and I'm certified in data conversion, HCM, student records and advising, launch, and talent. Beth and I will go ahead and turn our cameras off as we present this presentation.
All right. So why is it important to have year-end processes? We're going to take a look into this for you. Think of this as closing your books, auditing what is coming up, balancing the ledgers, ensuring that nothing is outstanding or needs to be closed. Review or give yourself a refresher of your current configuration and update any configuration for next year. Think of this as a tenant refresh, if you will. It's a time for resetting, planning, and forecasting for next year. It's important to align your business objectives for the coming year with your Workday configuration. Audit that configuration to ensure it's processing properly, and it's a wonderful opportunity to interview your stakeholders and gain some feedback on how things have been working for them. You want to make sure to involve your leaders, subject matter experts, and work streams over their own particular areas to gain that expertise and insight. See if there are any approval steps that might be able to be eliminated, check out what might need to be updated, and then log any brainstorming ideas into communities so that maybe perhaps in the future those can be addressed as well. It is definitely your tenant refresh time. We've put together a helpful checklist for you. Madison, do we have any previews into that?
Yes, thanks, Beth. So before we start with our checklist, we would like to note that this deck will be provided to you after the call. Each slide will have a checklist for the functional area noted, and any items you see highlighted in green will be demoed later in this webinar. We will start with a cross-functional checklist. These are your work streams that span across multiple functional areas, such as security, organization hierarchies, and Workday accounts. Items on this checklist will prompt you to review any configuration or tasks that may be outstanding or need adjustments for the following year. Next is HCM. This refers to any worker data, business processes, positions, etc. From this, we will demo how to use the business processes awaiting actions report to view outstanding action items, as well as how to use the what's new report to see any potential upcoming releases. This is also the time to clean up any outstanding transactions for terminated workers, update any business processes prior to starting the new year, maintain your company quick links, and even take the time to update naming conventions for reference IDs. Next, I'll pass it back to Beth for benefits and integrations.
So with benefits, generally you're looking at open enrollment items and doing some housekeeping for your new year. Unfortunately, we've not yet been able to get that blackout period for all events like we'd hoped, freezing all activity after launching open enrollment until the first of the year. So this means we still have those constant moving parts impacting not only benefits, but integrations and payroll as well. So ensure that all open enrollment events that can be closed and finalized are. Remember, these pesky little events keep popping back open on us. Validate that your dependents aging out on December 31st have been removed from benefits and have had their COBRA records processed. Run the scheduled future processes report and extend out those dates. We never want to realize they stopped running after the scheduled processes have been missed. Your past events are important. Cleanup is never fun. Review your managed evidence of insurability. This is an opportunity to both communicate with the impacted population that is still outstanding and to clean up and deny any of those pending evidence of insurabilities that have aged out of the process. Make sure you finalize any of your open benefits that have passed their submit by date. Failure to finalize certain benefit events can have an impact not only on company paid benefit enrollment, but also in how your data appears on your 1094, 1095 tax year ACA reporting. Make sure you review your event type category, reason triggers. Those coverage types all need to be included. Any new coverage types added during open enrollment, we want to ensure are included in those termination events, and that your termination events are fully mapped. All of your categories and reasons from your parent business processes have been accounted for, and none of them is sneaking through without configuration. No one wants lingering benefit events for terminated employees. And on those integrations, for integrations to feed accurate information, like I said, we need to ensure that all open enrollment activities are completed and ready for 2025. Make sure those passwords, PGP, or other encrypted certifications are current and that their expiration dates are still valid. We don't want to have accurate information that has difficulty getting to providers, that's for sure. Check those integration schedules. Some benefit-related integrations may have schedule adjustments around the end of the year and new year file runs. Ensure all required updates are made and that these are reviewed prior to the scheduled run date. Madison, I think that leads us into compensation.
Thanks, Beth. For core compensation, some year-end tasks would include reviewing your salary bands and job profiles in the tenant to make sure any necessary updates are made for the new year. It is important to be aware of the effective dates used when making changes to job profiles, grades, and grade profiles. When creating, it is best practice to use 01/01/1900. However, when updating, depending upon policies and requirements, the effective date to which updates are made may vary. For advanced compensation, during year-end, you are most likely prepping for launching the next compensation review cycle, which is usually completed in the spring. An example task includes reviewing matrices, targets, and compensation review validations being used in the compensation review process. Be sure to audit compensation plan assignments before launching the process and review any hard-coded dates in the compensation statements as well. For learning, the checklist for learning contains reviewing active courses, lessons, and programs for next year. Inactivate any irrelevant or inactive learning content, and check to ensure your instructors, assessors, and media is up to date. You may need to update your audience and campaigns as well. It is also recommended to review course assignments to ensure that if an employee is terminated, that they are not still actively assigned to courses. If you see this, you may need to either use mass cancel or mass drop for enrollments and mass waive for assignments. Next, we'll have Beth review PECs and recruiting.
All right. People experience. So people experience only provides a good experience if it provides current, accurate information. Confirm those knowledge articles are up to date, and anything that is out of date should be archived at this time. Update any of your journeys for the coming year as necessary. Take a look at your service level agreements for cases. Is there anything sitting out there for a long period of time that needs some attention? And reevaluate your case types and flows. Has business evolved to where you should be updating what cases go to who for the most responsive action? Good flow equals good response time in those cases. As with other areas, review your alerts configured for recruiting in the recruiting space and confirm the schedule for 2025 to avoid interruption of alert communication. A report we will demonstrate at the end, called Job Requisition Aging Report, can be leveraged to review those aging jobs. This is a potential opportunity to repost them as a spotlight job, giving those jobs center stage exposure. Look at your recruiting policies. Are you going to be implementing any changes to things like referral bonuses? You have an opportunity to communicate these changes leveraging announcements on the Jobs Hub. And year-end housekeeping here, clean up your requisition dispositions by running the Managed Job Requisition Report and looking for those requisitions that have active candidates. All other individuals should have the disposition updated appropriately. Another functional area with year-end cleaning is talent. Madison?
For talent, it is important to review and update employee review rules attached to review templates. Be sure to update rules if they're dated or any changes are made to your target audience. You may also need to set up new goal template rules and archive 2024 goals for goal setting at the beginning of the year. Be sure you also review any active employee review templates and conduct housekeeping for any that need to be inactivated or updated. Another important note that we suggest is if you look at your complete manager evaluation business process and there's not a condition rule to enter the employee acknowledgement step only if the employee is active, we highly suggest adding this as you don't want the business process to be held up by a terminated worker. For reporting, review reports and ensure calc fields are populating the correct data for any hard-coded dates. For example, some true-false fields have hard-coded dates for the current year and may need to be updated for 2025. Be sure to review the audit reports listed to ensure your report fields are working as anticipated and have not been marked to be deprecated by Workday. These would be the fields you see a do not use attached to them, and if you click on related actions off of one, you will see that Workday provides you an alternate report field.
And into time tracking. So time tracking often does not need much annual maintenance, but reviewing your period schedule, holiday calendar, and pre-scheduled audits before the new year begins can save you headaches when employees run into roadblocks trying to submit their timesheets in January. Do people have questions when entering time? Review and update help text to provide a better experience to your employees in the new year. Time calculations can reference a specific date. If a date is hard-coded, look to make it behave in a more dynamic fashion or ensure it is updated appropriately for the coming year. And again, those alerts. Make sure the schedule is extended to ensure accurate communication to employees regarding their time entry reminders. Ensure the holiday calendar is up to date and that next year's events have been entered. This is a great opportunity to plan your PTO. You'll know exactly when all the holidays are going to fall. For absence management, ensure your period schedules used in that area are updated for the new year as well. The date should be extended through the end of the new year at a minimum. Have there been any updates to time off plans? Make sure the configuration is current and does not require updates. Using year-end to review that help text, like I previously said in regards to time off or to time tracking, is what makes the system work well for everyone. Review the wording on enter and correct time off, as well as request and return from leave of absence business processes. Help text should be informative and brief. Too many words causes end users to ignore the information. And as in time tracking, holiday events for the new year need to be added to the holiday calendar. This will be part of our demo at the end, both manual entry as well as the ability to update it leveraging an EIB. Time off service dates, perfect opportunity to audit for those and populate any of your blanks, and you're ready to go.
Coming up on our last couple of checklist slides, we have payroll. While Workday owns and updates related to annual limits for taxes, 401k, health savings accounts, and more, there are audits that customers should perform each year in preparation for annual reconciliation and tax filing. While this slide looks somewhat overwhelming, these steps are all part of a seamless process of reviewing the accuracy of your year-to-date results and smoke tests for getting your employees accurate W-2s. We want to preface that this slide is US-centric. We also advise going onto Community and searching payroll year-end checklist and looking at the content type, kits, and tools. Workday updates these annually based on country-specific requirements and reports. An example from last year's checklist would be for Canada, there was an updated requirement regarding dental benefits for employees T4s. Since this was included in the 2023 checklist, if you made updates then, you should be good to go for this year. And last but not least, financials. This slide highlights many of the tasks and reports that should be reviewed regularly throughout the year, along with some year-end specific tasks. Key year-end tasks that are common for payroll and financials include making sure that the next fiscal year has been created, and for each company, make sure ledger years and periods have been configured. The next fiscal year and the appropriate periods also need to be in open status. If this does not happen, transactions cannot be posted in your new year. Having wrapped up the book side, it may be time to visit our favorite company, Global Modern Services. So now we'll jump into the demo portion of the tenant. These will be our demos that we conduct. As Beth is going through them, I will be sure to introduce what we're doing so that you guys are aware. Beth, if you want to take over.
Absolutely. Let's get into GMS.
So before we start, these were all the green highlighted items in our previous slides. As a reminder, this is a GMS tenant and any data you see in it is fictitious. First, we're going to run the scheduled future processes report to view any processes that may need to be extended. And then we'll also show you the mass update scheduled future processes task, which is a quicker way to update multiple processes at once.
All right, so under scheduled future processes, if you leave everything blank in the run control options and include expired run once, you'll see all of the results out here. In this instance, we have a couple of passive events and a few alerts. The majority of our processes are currently set to expire on December 31st of 2024. With these, you can do them individually and update the schedule to push out that end date off of a related action on the individual schedule process. And then it is your schedule future process and then edit. Now, as Madison had stated, there is an easier way to review these in order to update a number of these processes at exactly the same time. That functionality is found when you search on Mass Update Schedule Future Processes. You can select and highlight all of the process types. Look at anything that's active or even expired or suspended. Click OK on this, and what this will provide you is a list of those processes that we just saw in the scheduled future processes and the ability to update them based on a checklist with stated data. So what we would be able to do here is go ahead and update the end date on our scheduled future processes all at the same time to the end of 2025, making sure we're remembering which year that we're in and which one's upcoming. Select all, strike the OK button. We'll go ahead and confirm that. And now all of our dates have been updated to 2025. What's up next on our agenda, Madison?
Next, we'll run the unassigned task report for all business processes and show you how to reassign tasks to the appropriate worker via the reassign task action.
All right, so the search for that is unassigned tasks. If you were wanting to return for all of the business processes to review at the same time, it would be your top radio button selection. I'll leave the dates wide open and go ahead and click the OK button. Note the maximum row limit return is 200. And so if you see results that equal 200, there are more out there for your review. We'll click OK. We have 46 items currently in GMS that require reassignment. Reassignment can be done right from these radio buttons individually. You can reassign unassigned tasks here. You can also use the action button for reassigned steps. Anything that can be reassigned will be. Another option for that is reassign business processes or reassign tasks. So under reassign tasks, you can pull it up based on many different options and take action on a group of unassigned tasks all at the same time.
Thanks, Beth. Next, we will run the View Alerts report and how to use it to manage alerts.
So View Alerts gives us a little bit more exposure than the simple scheduled future processes view. View Alerts is going to show us every alert out there, and we can just go ahead and do a schedule from this list. Some of these are alerts that Workday delivered. Perhaps there's an opportunity going forward to leverage these alerts based on your culture in the future. These items can be updated straight from the related action on the individual alert. And then using that schedule future process, you have the ability to suspend, activate, edit, and schedule those alerts to run directly from this view.
Awesome. Next, Beth will demo how to update holiday calendars, both manually and how to mass update it via the Put Holiday Calendar EIB.
So if we navigate to view holiday calendar, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the holiday calendar for the United States. What this does is it gives us a view of all of the holidays that have been put into the calendar. If you reverse sort your start date, you'll see the most recents at the top. To manually add calendar events to the holiday calendar, it's a related action off of that calendar name. Your third action, step down for calendar, and then add calendar event. Workday will then expose the data entry view for entering each individual calendar event one at a time. Now, if we're thinking about entering the holidays for the entire upcoming year, you can do this via EIB instead of the manual entry event by event. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. The holiday EIB can be pre-populated with tenant information. So what you're actually able to do is generate a template spreadsheet with everything that you have in there today. You could then go ahead and add the future holidays directly to that upload into your new tenant in Sandbox, validate, and then upload into production. You'll see here we edited the template with data options, chose the condition rule option, and simply put in calendar in selection list, and then the holiday calendars that we're looking to update. More than one can be outputted at a time. You simply then would generate spreadsheet template from here and ensure that your generate spreadsheet with data checkbox is checked. Click the submit button. After this winds for a little bit, you'll get an EIB output, which lists all your current holiday calendars. You can copy the prior year holiday rows, update the appropriate dates for the new year, and then go ahead and upload those like I had stated. All right.
Next, Beth will review the Business Processes Awaiting Actions report.
Okay, and so for that business process is awaiting action. We all know how lingering open business processes can cause us processing issues with other items that we're looking to process through. So that business processes awaiting action, and let me go ahead and get my search a little bit more finite here to bring up the appropriate task. This particular delivered report, I'm going to go ahead and run it for all functional areas and all business processes. What it's going to do is deliver us some matrix output in a descending order based on the one that has the most outstanding events pending action at the very top, and then going down from there. This gives you a good idea of areas that may need some improvement in the flow of the business processes for the new year so that they're not stalling out, and show you your areas that need attention to ensure that you're in good shape for the year that's coming.
Now we'll open up the What's New report to identify any recommended 1-1 changes.
So that's that What's New in Workday. This report allows you to slice and dice the items that are either new to production, about to come into production, and where all of those things sit. It also gives you a good preview of what's coming as well. Again, it's recommended that you check the box so that it only returns items for the functional areas that you have enabled in the system. You can drill this down if you're running it based on subject matter expert or functional area, or leave it wide open to just return everything. Different Workday releases can be targeted for this. Our most recent release was the 2024 release 2 that hit production, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that one in general. Again, this is that What's New report. As you can see, there are a number of items on here that have come out with release 2 in 2024. You can slice and dice this report output to review what you might need to pay some attention to ahead of the new year. That setup effort column for automatically available versus setup required can be a big driver in prioritizing this as well. And where is our next opportunity, Madison, to give a little bit of show and tell in GMS?
Yeah, hopefully this will answer a question that was in our thread. It is to review the job requisition aging report to determine if any jobs need to be reposted as a spotlight job. And the question in the thread was, what is a spotlight job? So hopefully this demo will show you.
All right. And I think, if I'm remembering right, Madison, on this, is it the HR department that we were going to show?
Correct. Logan McNeil.
Fantastic. We'll go ahead and click OK on this. We're going to drill into Logan's and take a look at this. And wow, we've had a chief executive officer position open and available since the end of 2022. Sounds like that's a fantastic opportunity for a spotlight.
Right. Next, we will run the employee review summary report to assess which employee review templates are still in progress and how you would take action on or use the mass advanced business process to mass advance them. So we'll start by going to the employee review summary.
All right, and it's HR services department, I believe we were going to look for here.
Correct.
To give an example.
And it will be the annual review all. Yes.
And then our overall rating scale.
You got it.
All right, so this shows that we have 4 reviews in progress here. We can take action directly from the review process itself through business process and advance manually. That would be the ability to do that as one individual at a time. Another opportunity for this in more of a mass action would be mass advance business process. What this task would allow us to do is mass advance those business processes for those performance reviews. For one entire organization at a time. So we've got the HR services department here. We're looking for our current range. We're going to include our sub-processes. Click OK. It showed us our in-progress report or performance reviews. If we do send to completion and select them, that will go ahead and manually advance those processes for you all the way through to completion. I believe, Madison, that concludes our demonstrations in the GMS tenant for today.
Yes, thank you. I'll go ahead and take over. Jeff?
Yeah, thank you. Great job to you both. So there was, and thank you, Madison, for answering Aaron's question on the spotlight job, and Beth for demoing that. There was one other question, Beth. I'm not sure if you can talk your way through this one, but Rafi asked, can you please help us with how to extend the pay group dates? Can you comment on that or describe how to do that in an easy way, or is that something you would need to take offline?
No, absolutely. So hopefully I'm sharing my screen.
You are, yeah.
Fantastic. So those period schedule updates, those are, if we look at that, it is view period schedule is a place to check out your period updates. If you're unsure of what pay period schedules that you're using, you can go in and find the ones that are attached to your individual pay groups for payroll. If we pull up that period schedule, I'll go ahead and pull up a monthly. What we'll see on here is here's the period schedule at the bottom. We can see that in GMS, our monthly pay period schedule has not been attended in quite some time. This can be updated via EIB, although I have seen at times the EIB will stall out and not actually produce a pre-populated template result. In that case, you can go in, period schedule, and edit. I find the easiest way to update this is to add the number of rows that I need to accomplish my dates for the following year. And on a monthly schedule, it would be 12 here if we were building out for the next year. Go ahead and add your 12 rows. If you do your math, here you can see we're already going to back out if the payroll is happening on a holiday. So if we do 01/01/2023 to January 31st, 2023, it will already automatically populate that payroll payment date based on the adjustments for the payroll check date being on the weekend. So you don't have to think about what the appropriate payroll payment date is when you're doing the entry. It will automatically be done based on your settings up above. Afterwards, simply hit the OK button. From a benefits perspective, because that's one of my favorite areas, the easiest place to validate this is in your flexible spending account or health savings account divisors. But yeah, this would be how you would build out that period schedule for the upcoming payroll year.
Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you. And we are at time. So a little bit about ERPA as I close us out. We support customers again throughout their entire life cycle on Workday with implementation services, application support, private to public cloud, tenant migration, and much more, as you can see on this slide. Customers tell us that they love our integration warranties. They love our flexible approach that meets their changing needs, and then especially our named resources, so that you know who you're working with on every project and every ticket, rather than submitting a ticket that goes to the next available stranger who is unfamiliar with your tenant setup and configuration. So lots more here on this slide. You can find out about what we do and the breadth of the services that we provide. Just about anything in the Workday ecosystem, we can help you with it. Great material. Thank you, Beth and Madison, our team of experts who worked hard to put together this material. Thank you for those of you who joined us and spent the entire time with us today, even though we went over a few minutes. We hope that you found this year-end discussion helpful. On this slide, you'll find several ways to get in touch with us or to follow us at ERPA. And yes, you will receive an email in a few business days with links to the recording and the slides from this webinar, but you'll also receive an email survey right after the conclusion of this webinar. We would be ever grateful if you would take just a moment to answer those few questions and let us know how we did. That's it for now. Look for more webinars to come on a variety of topics of interest for those who love and use Workday. Thank you and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.